Months of complex underwriting, legal structuring, and intense negotiations finally culminate in the closing of a single tangible asset. But the moment the ink dries on a close, the operational burden shifts. Capital moves across entities, and it falls to the accounting team to track every dollar. Limited partners and institutional investors expect precise, ongoing reporting on exactly how those capital allocations are performing. This creates an operational paradox. As the physical footprint of the portfolio expands, the back-office process required to aggregate that incoming financial data slows down. In high-stakes environments, post-close reporting acts as a critical structural vulnerability that dictates exactly how fast a firm can maneuver in the market. In multi-entity real estate, financial latency represents the specific time gap between a transaction occurring at the property level and that data becoming visible at the portfolio level. A momentary delay in aggregating a single subfund cascades upward through the hierarchy, forcing leadership to pause time-sensitive strategic decisions. Legacy accounting workflows fracture under the weight of modern portfolio complexity, necessitating a structural re-engineering of how data flows through the firm. This diagram illustrates the baseline accounting structure of a single special purpose vehicle, or SPV, feeding data into a central ledger. In a vacuum containing only the single entity, standard off-the-shelf accounting software works as intended, the capital and data flow in a clean, direct line. Portfolio complexity disrupts this model. That single SPV is almost always just one component within a massive, interconnected architecture. The operational reality involves managing multiple distinct SPVs, diverse joint ventures, and deeply tiered subfunds simultaneously. Across this expanded network, the firm generates a massive, unrelenting daily volume of intra-entity transactions. Furthermore, the individual nodes within this chart carry distinct legal compliance requirements, bespoke tax structures, and entirely separate reporting cadences. They also serve diverse pools of investors, whose capital is legally tied to highly specific, isolated subfunds rather than the general portfolio. Legacy accounting systems treat every one of these related entities as a completely disconnected silo. To achieve portfolio-wide visibility, accounting teams must manually extract datasets from these isolated ledgers and attempt to stitch them together. Portfolio complexity breaks linear ledgers, forcing high-stakes firms to rely on fragile manual workarounds to understand their financial position. Bridging the gap between these disconnected silos requires a staggering application of pure human effort. Teams resort to manual, spreadsheet-based reconciliation, but mapping deeply tiered, multi-entity capital stacks inside static rows and columns is brittle and slow. Even a routine cross-entity transaction forces a back-and-forth email chain to verify numbers, request permissions, and document the flow of capital. This diagram tracks that manual approval chain. It forms an unpredictable pathway that is universally susceptible to human delay. This manual routing process acts as the primary operational bottleneck choking the firm's growth capacity. Every time a number is manually rekeyed from a spreadsheet or forwarded through an inbox, it introduces a margin for error into the final data set. Because the data pathways rely on sequential human actions, a single delayed approval sitting in one inbox instantly freezes the surrounding pathways, halting portfolio-wide reporting. Increasing accounting headcount does not fix the bottleneck. It simply adds more human nodes to an already strained email chain. This manual friction translates into systemic risk, increasing the probability of missing time-sensitive investment windows. A firm cannot scale its assets under management if its operational friction scales linearly alongside its portfolio size. Resolving this bottleneck requires moving away from reactive human effort in favor of proactive, system-level architecture designed for scale. This means deploying structured workflows engineered for the distinct logic of multi-entity real estate environments. This diagram represents the AccountTech architectural framework. It is a direct structural solution designed to eliminate fragmented data silos. AccountTech connects SPVs, joint ventures, and parent funds within a unified, relational database. Within this integrated environment, manual routing is stripped away. Automated approvals execute instantly based on predefined system logic. This architecture eliminates the back-and-forth email chains for standard cross-entity transaction verifications. Removing the variable of human reaction time from the routing process locks in reporting speed even as the portfolio expands. Simultaneously, system-level rules and automated reconciliation ensure accuracy at the point of entry, removing the requirement for a human to verify every individual data point. Because the logic is programmatic, this architecture scales regardless of how deep the subfund tiers go. By replacing human routing with structured automated workflows, the firm's internal data architecture finally matches the complexity of its external portfolio. Moving the focus away from the operational ledger allows executive fund managers to use financial data for strategic ends. Standard compliance reporting tells a firm where it has been. True leadership insight requires the data to show where the firm should go next. This split-level visualization models the architecture required for forward-looking insight. It relies on real-time visibility across every entity, property, and transaction. Because the data flow is immediate, a capital movement at a single property instantly updates the master executive dashboard. Real-time cross-entity transparency provides the foundation for confident, decisive strategic action. This creates organizational velocity. It ensures that as a firm's portfolio expands, its operational momentum accelerates rather than dragging under its own weight. Modernizing multi-entity real estate accounting is a strategic shift rather than a simple push for administrative efficiency. Modernization means building a system capable of absorbing aggressive, continuous portfolio growth without adding proportional operational friction. In the high-stakes real estate market, signing the final paperwork and closing a deal is just the first step. The ultimate competitive advantage belongs to the firms that possess the financial clarity to instantly analyze their data and act on the next market opportunity.